Hey, my name is Keenan Scott II, and I'm the creator of Thoughts of a Colored Man. So Thoughts of a Colored Man is about 7 black men with allegorical titles: love, lust, anger, happiness, passion, wisdom, and depression as they navigate their gentrified neighborhood in Brooklyn. And throughout this piece, you'll be able to see these men navigate who they are in their ever-changing neighborhood.
I play the character Lust, and you see him on the surface as this guy who's like boisterous, and he says things that maybe he shouldn't say, you know, in public. But when you see what's underneath that, of like this brother has gone through some stuff, he's carrying that weight around him. He doesn't have the access to the self-care and like maybe the therapy that he needs to move past that trauma. I think it shows that like us as black people, we walk around with that all the time.
We in this piece give so much depth to the black male voice, and we color it with vulnerability, we color it with friendship, we color it with misgivings that we have about each other, as well as the misgivings that people have about us.
12 years ago, while I was studying theater during undergrad at Frostburg State University, I didn't see myself represented in what they call the classics in American stage theater. I didn't see people that were of my era, from my generation, and from my community. So I wanted to be able to create a piece for myself and my peers where we can unapologetically be ourselves. But we didn't feel like we had to change our voice, the way we walk, the way we look, to fit in this mold or box of what they consider American theater. I wanted to create a piece where I could step on stage and just be myself.
In the media, honestly, when they tell black stories, often it's like we're either superheroes, like magic Negroes, or we're like downtrodden and just suffering. And I think what this play shows is like we're people. We have the same concerns about I got a job, I gotta pay the bills, I got kids, I like a person, and do they like me? And it shows like we're just human, honestly. And I think Keenan wanted to explore that of like, when you see a brother walking down the street, there's more to him than what you see on the surface. And maybe if you just like take a moment to recognize his humanity, you'll be surprised at what you see and discover.
There have been plenty of spaces and situations I've been in just because of my disposition, the color of my skin, I am feared. Whether that's someone that doesn't want to sit next to me on the bus or the train, someone that reacts to something I'm doing in a different way, my tonality of my voice, the way that I speak, my dialect, my regionalism, all of those things encompass the fear of the black man. Why? Because of how we're portrayed in film, in TV, on stage at different times, in print, in media just as a whole, on the news. I think there's this overwhelming fear of the black man, and I want this piece to be able to speak to the spectrum of the black man and just open that lens up more than it is now.
We run the gamut as far as shades in the show, as far as the different aspects of the different characters that we portray, and I feel like we are all encompassing so that any man of color can come and see the show and find themselves in one or all of the characters that we portray. We have these allegorical names, but we often float in and out of the various different emotions of the other characters just to show that multi-dimensional black man that is often muted, that is often ignored, that is often just very, very, very stereotyped.
We are multifaceted. We come from different socioeconomical backgrounds. Yes, we do share similar stories because of how this country has formed, but we do share a lot of differences as well, and I think this play shows that.
There are so few opportunities to hear stories about the diverse issues impacting African American men in this country. We don't often get to hear stories from our perspectives, so it's really important that people hear what it's like to be a black man in America, but also realize there's not just one perspective.
This play impacted me because it's a reminder of the fact that there's still work to be done. I'm an old school brother. I'm from back in the days when they said power to the people, and unfortunately we people have relegated our power over to strangers and over the people who have no connection with our lives.
This piece specifically speaks to showing that black men are not singular, that we're multi-dimensional, that we are complex like anybody else, and this story really just creates a human universal story. So there is no better time than now for this piece.